Okay, so I'm just going to talk through the tying system that I use. Firstly, I just need to make it clear that the system I've got isn't commercial off the shelf. It's something I've thrown together and using different ideas I've seen over time. Some of it's my own ideas and some of it I've just seen and replicated and in some ways improved slightly. I go for a boat fixed as opposed to a waist mounted system. Personally, I think your system needs to be attached to your boat. The reason for that is I have dragged boats and people through surf, and I just can't imagine doing that with a waist mounted system. Also, if you're in a long tow situation and you've got people in line, towers towing a victim, then I would hate to think what the consequences are of the person in the middle who's got a waist tow being pulled and pulling at the same time. Personally, I don't like that idea. Now, with all tow systems, obviously one of the main things is to have a good system that allows you to connect to the person you're towing. Obviously, you need a really good quick release system at your end. You need a system that will float, or at least you won't lose easily. It needs to be, well, I guess, visible. And most people subscribe to the idea that certainly in a following sea you need at least 15 metres of line. So the system I've got basically comprises of three main parts, and that is a shock absorber system, just here, a quick tow, some people may refer to that as a short tow, and a deliberate tow, some people may refer to that as a long tow. So let's start with the shock absorber. It's actually a system from a kite surfing implement. So it's actually something that a kite surfer would attach to himself or herself and the kite, and it means if he drops the kite there is a bit of shock absorber in there, and he does have a quick release function. So the shock absorber, as you can see there, it's just a piece of bungee with some neoprene wrapped around it. It's got a nice carabiner there, and it's got this system here which I'll show on the boat in just a sec. That's the quick release. Okay, the other piece of kit I've got here is my quick tow, and you can see it's quite short. I find that I guess some people would use this instead of a contact tow. Okay, contact tow still useful. However, I find certainly in rough conditions a contact tow is awkward and possibly a little bit dangerous. So I like a little bit of space between me and the boat I'm towing at all times. The quick tow, exactly as it says, is designed for very fast but short rescues, and that's why the rope is fairly thick, easy to handle. The carabiner is nice and big and allows me to actually hold it around my thumb when I'm paddling if I need to. So this is actually stored inside my PFD pocket, and I'll show you how that works in just a sec. The other one I've got here is my deliberate tow. Most people use a bag. I don't like a bag. I find that it's very hard to re-stow in a bag. Some people disagree with that. Certainly mesh bags are very hard anyway. So I prefer having this system, and I just simply roll the cord back onto this float. So what I have here is a strong carabiner. You'll also notice too that I've ground off the notch in the carabiner, as I have with this carabiner as well, so less chance of snagging. I've picked a carabiner that hopefully won't, when it's open, it won't release the line, so it's got a little eye there. I've used some heat shrink, just to hide the knot. It doesn't really work that well. And then the cord basically goes into the float, so the float doesn't go along the line when it's filled out. The line's wrapped around, and there's a little notch there to hold it. And then at my end, that's the victim's end, and this is my end here when I'm rescuing. I have a snap, shake or quick release, etc. there. So you can see all that there. So now on the boat itself, this is how we're fixing our tow system. It's just simply a piece of Spectra across the back here behind the cockpit, as if it was another deck line. And certainly you could attach this system on any of the fastings if you had to, if you didn't have this system, if you had to borrow someone's boat in a hurry. So this allows us to actually move it across from one side to the other. So if we're rescuing someone and then for whatever reason we find ourselves on the other side, I can simply slide it across the other side there. The quick release system on the kite surfing shock absorber Really, the arrow says it all. You basically slide that in that direction, the whole system comes apart. It's very simple, very elegant, and there's no real moving parts that can actually fail there. I've never had a problem with that at all, and it works completely under attention. Very easy to find. Even though it's behind you, it's very easy to find that piece of plastic and slide it. So that's the first part of the system. Normally I'll have the shock absorber system attached at all times, and that is just stuck under one of my bungees, ready for use. So to the quick tow now. The quick tow system, as you can see, just hooks into the carabiner on the shock absorber, and like I said before, I just leave that under the bungee there, and that just stays there until I need it. As I said before, my quick tow line actually sits in my PFD pocket, and it sits in my left PFD pocket. Obviously that's this side. Bundled up pretty much in that pocket, and that's pretty much all that's in that pocket. So as soon as I go into a situation like, for instance, if I need my helmet on, generally I put this on, meaning that we're going somewhere that needs a bit more caution. Certainly when I'm with other people, I put this on if we're going anywhere near any rocks. So all I do is I pull the I guess this end out of my PFD pocket, reach around and connect it to this carabiner, and then sometimes I'll leave this carabiner just sitting outside my PFD pocket, hanging like that. So when I need to rescue someone, I just put my thumb through that carabiner, continue to paddle, go up to the casualty, click under the deck line and paddle away, maybe give it a bit of a push out of my PFD pocket, and I've got my system running. Great thing about that is it's quick, it's easy to handle, and because it's relatively short, I keep good communication with the casualty at the other end. So that's the main advantages of the quick tow. The other main point, of course, is it's really easy to re-stow. Only takes a couple of seconds. There's very little danger of entanglement because it's just literally not in the water for very long at all. My quick tow line also, it can be used for a million other different things too. In shallow water, if I need to drag my boat or other people's boats, I can use it basically as a tow point or a bow line. And I can also use it as a stirrup rescue. That is to help someone, where you let the cord drape over the side of someone's boat in a loop, and allows them to get back into their boat easily if they've, for some reason, they don't have upper body strength or incapacitated, whatever. There's 101 different things you can use a short bit of line for when you're sea kayaking. Okay, so now to the deliberate tow. Now, deliberate tow I actually store inside my day hatch because it's designed for a deliberate situation where you've come together to form a plan and to drag someone across the ocean for many, many kilometres. I don't see it as a tool for to drag someone very quickly out of rocks. That's what my quick tow is for. However, it is still designed to be deployed very quickly. So once it's out of my day hatch, I simply connect the carabiner to the shock absorber, and if I don't want to use the shock absorber for any reason, I can just go straight to my snap shackle there. So again, with the deliberate tow, pretty much I paddle up to the casualty. I use the carabiner, as you may see in the video in just a second, and you'll see the float just hangs above the water there, and as I paddle away, this basically unfurls very quickly to let out 15 metres of line. You notice there too that the cord is a lot thinner than the quick tow. The reason for that is we don't really want too much resistance when you're dragging people through the water. 15 metres of line being dragged through the water for kilometres and kilometres, you want to try and keep that line relatively thin. At the same time, you need to compromise so you've got a line thick enough that you can actually handle when your hands are cold and wet. So that's the compromise I've made there. You'll also note too that the line is white, obviously for visibility once it's in the water, and probably a little bit controversial, I like my line to sink. Okay, and the reason for that is I like it to sink out of the way while I'm manoeuvring my boat around. Look, it's not going to go anywhere, even if it does get detached. I've got this float on the end of it, so I'm always going to find it. But, that's subject to people's opinion on that. But personally, I like the line to float. To sink. I've found that line that floats pretty much just becomes a big mess on the surface of the ocean. If you rolled over in that, you just get entangled in it. Look, I'm not saying it's going to be the perfect situation, but everything's a compromise and you have to work with what you've got at the time. So let's go see the whole system in action now. Just some footage here from a couple of weekends ago around the Five Islands. Enjoy.
Snag deployed.
Okay, so Lisa's going to give me a quick tow as opposed to a deliberate tow. So the idea here obviously is speed. It's only going to be a short length of line, it's only about 5 metres, and the idea is to move someone out of harm's way and then possibly consider a deliberate tow of some sort. So she's coming in now. Short tow on, it's just running out of her PFD pocket. Fully deployed now, and we're away. Now the great thing about this, obviously the speed, the rope's a little bit thicker because we're not going to be doing this for kilometres and kilometres, which means it's easier to handle. And being a shorter tow, better comms. Okay, because obviously it's going to be a near crisis situation, a lot of noise, so we need to be able to communicate. Okay, let's see if you can take me out of danger here. Get us into a bit of flat water. That's it. Now I could be in the middle of a rescue here, so obviously she could be towing me while I'm rescuing somewhere else, or I could be rescued, whatever. Obviously with a short tow, be very careful not to surf into the person in front. So clearly there's some occasions when this wouldn't be appropriate. Okay, Lise. Okay, so she's just going to re-stow that now into her PFD pocket. She stays, basically the rope stays connected to the boat. Easy. Seconds for the long shot. See what the GoPro picks up under there. Bit of a long shot, but you never know.